Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Yesterday, we have the National Executive Member. We have Honorable Francis Kende, Councilor Peter Morong, Honorable Dr. Ali Mare, Wing Vice President Ayala Victor Mure, Deputy Party Leader, Adi Maria Minister, Mr. Alliance Secretary as well. We have the Deputy Administrative Secretary, Honorable Yakubu David. We have the Regional Chairman, Paul Soko, the Second Deputy Chair Lady, Honorable Arden Samara, and Guane, Jared Kenike. Thank you all for joining us here today. We are already active in order of critical importance of the United Democratic Party to the national and free approach to December-based elections as you know. Party functions are growing annually and it's crucial for us to play and articulate our party's position. Today, we will outline our plans on this ongoing coalition discussion and share our intentions moving forward. Thank you. I hereby present the party leader, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Nigeria, and the former Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency J.M. Al-Hadi Hussein.
I think, Madam Moderator, you should stop referring to me as His Excellency, the former Vice President, because you know, I'm told that when people say His Excellency, the former Vice President, I think my way of working, I think the same. Exactly because that. Anyway, thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Deputy Party Leader, the de facto Women's League President, Binta Ture, all members of the National Executive and Central Committees are present, distinguished attendees, members of the press. I say good morning to all of you. I am again honored to have your presence, you the dedicated members of the press, those who amplify and disseminate the voices of voiceless. Always, when we invite you to occasions, however short the notice is, you respond and you respond in good number. I thank you very much. You couldn't have been visible, you wouldn't have been audible without you. Thank you for partnering with us. Gentlemen of the press and distinguished attendees, our party, the United Democratic Party, also believe that the future of this country is greater than the ambitions of any individual or any single party. With this conviction, we responded to an invitation by the National Democratic National Alliance for Democracy, NAD, the Alliance for Democratic Alliance for Democracy and Development, ADD. We responded to an invitation to a coalition talk that was initiated by this party. We want to hear register. Our greatest appreciation for this thoughtful decision taken by ADB to convey or invite political actors to a coalition talk. We attended these talks in the company of several medical political parties and 14 CSOs and political movements. Throughout our engagement with this effort, we were very constructive, we are very honest, we are very sincere. We never missed work, we are never ambiguous in our submission as what we speak. United Democratic Party has always believed that a party-led alliance is the proper foundation of any coalition. It's a viable foundation. It's a foundation that guarantees success at the polls. We have always believed in that. But in any situation, you do have contrary views, and we are very open to receiving and listening to other views that do not support the party-led alliance. There was, of course, proposal for a candidate-led alliance. For the past several weeks, we have engaged in the discussion of which of the two models best suits us. And we almost agree that the proponents of the models advance reason why they think their proposal or model is the most viable one. We of the United Democratic Party have brought up history that in the past we have seen a candidate-led alliance in this country going to the polls, and the consequences of the victory or electoral success of that alliance, we all be around to see that really has very top flutter because there was no independent candidate. You cannot have a party, you cannot have a coalition led by an individual who comes from a party, and one is not the fact that that party, that individual's connection, the sentimental feelings he has for the party of which he has been a member will just be erased away just by resigning from that party to the pretext that he is an independent candidate running on an independent platform. The platform may appear to be independent, but it's certainly not independent. The beliefs of the candidate prior to him being selected as a candidate, to lead the alliance of party-led coalition. His history cannot forget his history, cannot forget his connection. So we do not believe that independence is secured merely by resigning from your party. We, of course, have advanced that the model throughout the world, in the first election framework, is that pre-election alliances are built around the party with the largest membership in the country. We have shown that since 1996, UDP has been the dominant opposition party in this country. There is no dispute about that. And we have consistently been advocates of alliances in this country. In 2001, we accepted to go into an alliance in 2011. So we have never really given our back to a united front that is intended to remove incumbents, but not only to remove incumbents, but also to ensure that the system is put in place that warrants that the system could be played that really Gambian people really are yearning for. We do not want a situation for a system to be created in the country where parties will go with alliance for the purpose of defeating the government. We always want to have another that will put in place a system that affords everybody the opportunity to contest elections on its own merit, and seek office on its own merit, rather than being an apprentice to another party. That is what we believe must happen, and that cannot be happen when there is a change. And changes of system do not come by themselves. System change through the agency of human beings. And we as political actors should have to be the agent of change and of protection. Of course, the, there is the view that it does not matter. But if it does not matter, why are you not asking for a united front? We are asking for a united front because we believe that that will be bigger figure that you can really move. So if it does not matter, then I don't know what matters. But we can take them constructively, and we try to convince our colleagues that optional, the viable option is for the party led and not a coalition, not a candidate-led coalition. That is a fundamental principle that the United Democratic Party was integrated from. And we didn't say that United Democratic Party must be the party-led coalition. We said it must be a party-led coalition. And if there's an agreement that it's a party-led coalition, then of course, other things like your strength and so forth will become consideration in whether which party should lead or which party should not lead. But apart from the fact that our position was not accepted, there was a move. In fact, there no, not a move, because a move has been adopted, the position has been adopted in setting up certain eligibility criteria. And I think, for me, it is an insult to really determine my eligibility on reason other than that those provided by for several years when we have in this country, managing the affairs of this country and serving the government in this country. Our competence, our credibility, our integrity has never come into question by anybody. The United Democratic Party believes that its chosen candidate, no candidate in terms of corruption, in terms of service, in terms of patriotism. But one of the eligibility criteria, and I'm sure when I read this, out this, you will know that that is directed at the government, not the party. And that eligibility criteria is loyalty to the coalition. They say the candidate must have no verifiable history of sabotaging coalition efforts, undermining joint candidates, or effective personal gain during critical coalition moments. Gentlemen of the press, since 2017 or 2015, those who have voted in the Democratic Party have carried this throughout the country, throughout the world, that the coalition 2016 failed because of United Democratic Party. The United Democratic Party sabotaged the coalition 2016 that is failed. So you can see quite clearly that this criteria is directed at the government and local party. How can we accept such a criteria for selection of the flag bearer, even assuming we agree to a party to a candidate there. How can you agree to that? One, with the selection process. Two is the last question, maybe two maybe for the doctor. And then we are put again at a spread and debunking the false statements that they have been banging on about. But another criteria, which I think contradictory to their party-led, or to their coalition-led, ethnic-led alliance, is class correction. They say the candidate, he or she must show active engagement with, and I emphasize it, with party structure. Now, with which party structure? When the candidate who is selected to lead as an independent candidate, which party structure will be maintained relationship. Of course, naturally, it could not be a party to which it does not belong. So you can see that even though they do not accept party-led, what they realize that parties are very important in this process. If you cannot maintain relationship with your party structure, then your candidacy, the viability of your candidacy is sadly is not required anymore. So apart from anything, the electricity carrier for us goes contrary. So let me just convert does not conform with the constitution. We accept all conditions that the laws of the Gambia provide for candidates wishing to contest the presidential election. We are not going to accept criteria, legitimate criteria, crafted by people who we know in the past have been calling for people to get together and fight UDP and NDP. They have their right. You cannot accept their enemy. So you can see that from the word go, the so-called CMC, was crafted rules that are skewed against UDP. What is the disadvantage? It is quite clear that those who claim to be the mediators have themselves expressed their preferences. So that's just one of the models of coalition or alliance even before they became members of the CNC. We have seen some who attended meetings of meetings of this coalition who were, I think, produced as belonging to members of political parties, but then suddenly metamorphosed into something else. So from the word go, you realize that that was something that is not completely all right, completely right. But despite that, we are not passive, we are optimists. We believe that with all this, we could still engage in constructive discussion. We could engage, we could engage as individual people and concrete contribution that best suit this country. We want to have a governing council. Why governing council? When we have a constitution and other laws in the country that determines how the government will be run, that determines what powers and what discussion are better to be better. And you want to tell me that you want to have a better constitution, but yet the constitution that we have in the country understanding, you have to disregard that. And you tell me that that is the right thing to do. You people does not subscribe to political expediency at the expense of relationship. UDP does not subscribe to political expediency at the expense of constitutionalism. UDP does not do that, and UDP will never do that. Because for us, accepting these things would be contrary to public policy. When you agree with the government and set of rules that is not provided for by the government. I agree that when government countries, you can really try to abide by conditions that are universally accepted without really having them to the state of. But you cannot really put certain things for selection of the presidential candidate that you know will go contrary to the provisions of the Constitution and upon being elected, you take advantage of the situation that the Constitution does not provide for you, so therefore I am not going to abide by it. That is not UDP. You don't accept things and there's a neck on them. You don't do that. And that is why one of the reasons also to reject the candidate position. There is of course power sharing. Power sharing, everybody agrees that in any coalition, any alliance of political parties, you talk about how you share the offices. I don't want to use the word power. How you share offices. You cannot really form an alliance without addressing that. Or should that be the prime force? And that has been what the majority of the proponents at that discussion, that was the fundamental approach. What is it that for us? What is in there for us? For me, is the Gambia and nothing else. We cannot start thinking of sharing of this amongst ourselves when we have not addressed key issues around. Let's take ourselves the class of patriotic issues such as unemployment, the water economic system, the corruption in the country, and other things that are retarding our progress in this country. These are issues fundamental that have to be discussed first and foremost, and then agree on those things, and then we come to the last bit of it, how to share offices when elected. We see some of the suggestions on the sharing offices. For us, they run contrary to what our fundamental belief is. We want to keep civil service, government offices, out of the basis of political parties. We want them to operate government offices purely as civil servants of this country, not as representatives of political parties or of government in any way. But then we want to allocate governors to party A, party B, so and so, making them political parties. And that is why today our governors are operating in ways and manners that satisfy the desires of the ruler because they are basic. And not necessarily to the justice that is why today when the governor sees or hears an account being associated with a political party, will be going to come. That is what we become. But it's one of the things that is one of the things that's supposed to become adopted by the majority of the people attending the meetings. That is not approved. What also is not accepted UDP in the selection process. The voting, the want to put UDP after impressive 30 years in the context of this country, having structures in every part of this country, having members of grassroots, having representatives in the national assembly, having mayors, councillors, not to put them at the same level as a CSO or a political movement that was just formed in 2026. Not to put them on the same level. Is that fairness? You want to have equality. You want to have an alliance, but an alliance that is built on fairness, an alliance that is built on honesty, an alliance that truly reflects the democratic values of our country, an alliance that recognizes the strength of political parties. You cannot equate unity with a CSO just registered in 20. You cannot equate unity with a movement that is just forming. Some of them, you don't when they tell you some of them, you don't even know who they are. I'm not in any way believe kind of this, but we are talking about reality. Gentlemen of the church, I want to make this one thing clear. We are going to be very unambiguous about it. If any of the political parties that are engaged in this discussion have the same political aspect of UDP, they will slap us. We will be together that we have to make candidates there. They will slap us. They will consider us as people with all of this suffering from some mental people that is incomplete. How can a party with representatives in the National Assembly, with representatives in the council, which has survived against government for 30 years, against all odds, is seen as if just that move, consistency, sincerity in it, not to compare them with that or movement and party that are just sprouting up now. We reject it. And we reject it. Honestly, and I think any reasonable person will really agree that rejecting such a proposal is the most sensible thing to do. I've seen it. Such a proposal, when I get the Democratic Party, if we do so, we will alienate all our supporters. And let me say that we are not in this thing because we desperately want the president of this country. No. We are in this thing because we want to see a better country. And we believe that a better country can only achieve through a party-led alliance. That party-led alliance will address the issues of this country. That party-led alliance will address the wants of this country and the desires of this country. The that party-led alliance that will fight corruption in this country and will come the party who is advocating to have a party-led alliance in the party that has been fighting consistently against corruption in this country since 1996. All others that have come on, all others that are speaking against corruption today are only repeating what we have said for the past 30 years. And we did so at the time when talking against corruption in this country was an anathema because you risk the chance of being taken to Bambadinka. He didn't care about Bambadinka. And he spoke against things of this country. And we continue to. It's a great loss. The people who just want to go to the negotiating table to see what ambassador appointment I can, whether I could be a consul general, whether I could be a governor, because to negotiate with them and agree in those things, I think that grounds contrary to our conviction. And we said that we believe that if we have to fail, we must fail our principle. If we have to fall, we have to fall by our principle. And if we want to survive, we will survive by our principle. We will not fail through our principles because we want to be public. That is not a UDP belief. That is not UDP conviction. UDP's conviction is that we have to get office through legitimate means, just not through political activity. And gentlemen of the press, with all this, the United Democratic Party has carefully considered all these issues, having involved in a 14-week discussion with our colleagues to form an alliance that will really remove Barrow, that we believe we have to remove Barrow from office. After all, after really holding our hands in the preparation of our campaign materials, because we couldn't come prepare the campaign materials, that is only from UDP, not knowing what Southern Alliance will start. Having in fact lessen or reduce our political engagement, active political engagement, having reduced it, all because we just didn't want to go out and say UDP is the party. After all that, and we did it for good reason, we now have come to the very regrettable and unavoidable is that we are pulling out of the ADP coalition initiative, the Alliance for Democracy and Development. We are pulling out of that initiative. There are other coalitions, and we are very much part of that initiative. We continue to participate in the discussion of the discussion initiated by EPEC, and we hope that we will be able to reach a reasonable compromise among participants. But in the meantime, I am calling on all other political parties who think alike like United Democratic, who have the desire to salvage this country, to come and join United Democratic Party, so that we build an alliance that will be formidable, an alliance that will be that will stand up to Barrow and his so-called Grand Alliance and defeat them. You know, we can't do it because Barrow and his Grand Alliance, they are contesting against UDP as a single party. And you see what we've done. This has been nothing, but you see how much we are affected their endeavor and ambitions. We show that we alone could do it. But now, if you have other political parties to join us, the task will be much easier. And then, together, we will build the Gambia that is the one and desire of all who are producing. The Gambia that will fight corruption. The Gambia that will see the policy through the back door. The Gambia that will place value on merit. The Gambia that will ensure that our young people are employed. The Gambia that will ensure that the farmers' products are bought. The Gambia that will pay the farmers better than civil servants. How can you imagine the president giving a promise that intended to secure votes that will increase salary by 30%? When they have done also the price of their produce has remained stagnant for the past few years. Not only stagnant for the past few years, but we are in the rainy season, and government is shamelessly said we have paid the $1.6 billion in the middle of the rainy season. You know, it's not the government that really is willing to address the problems of the farmers. And this is what United Democratic Party and any perspective allies of it are really doing this one. Give the farmers their due, in fact, give them the premium prominence in this country than any other sector of this country. Gentlemen of the press, it is hard for me to really make this announcement, but it's reality. We cannot just go and pretend that things will work out when we know that the prisons are irreconcilable. There is no use to really go on with the negotiations. The only sensible thing to do is really disengage and let those who believe in a candidate-led alliance go ahead and do their own selection of their own kind of their own flag here. And those who believe in party-led, we ask all of you to come to discuss, and I'm sure we will reach an agreement that is for the good of all the parties in that alliance and for the good of this country. I thank you.
Thank you, Continue His Excellency and IG Dabo, the flag bearer of the United Democratic Party, and also the President Committee Democratic 2022. Thank you, the Medium Houses as well, and thank you for the leader for your comprehensive statement. And now we move to question and answers. And please try to keep your questions short and precise. Thank you. Media houses, please when asking question, your name and the name of the media houses will be presented. Thank you.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. I would like to ask in the local language for the benefit of our local listeners. My name is Adam Valera. I'm working for Lembekere TV and Hope Digital FM. Ela to jini karo kila ni manika kau na puru na manika la wala. Bau sendiri kumanyama lelu penyanyi na polisi kakam Lembekere. Panal meni aloko al fe ani mangka de wala umaka kuje meni aloko anabo lelu na bukini. Lantai du puru penyanyi puru na local listener. Yidlal penyanyi meni aloko wali mpa kola konstitusi kontradikal. Wal mummin dole di alim fanan yita do fanan ka political statement ba do ko ko mummiro do la ka ko do be je meli alon ko bol mino alim fanan yayta do UDP la di alon ko mulna ya test ya lo ale mun no mo santi on ya test bi do la paras ma alim mi do ale mun ka woldo mo se da di on la no so do menna alim sai ya fanan ko ala kun dal ben UDP mune ko dara ala tigo be nyaadi ala ko coalition kakalo be ke fo al be gagné non ni al gagné la yendula kile ko wala Sénégal la ko Sénégal la kan do ko pour de do i ni ma sa ngana ko ba de ba musti ba ko
Yang ni ko ngi be daw le do ni boy daw ma tandu ba ada ada baba itu isa aku kumalu isor kono kono kabo nambo tentu mai ya lo kabo ko ni la nya do ko ni ma de kamera ani me ya solo kabo ko pationu ya kabu nyoma kuna kacha ke si masa punda me bijando si apondino nyana na masa punda lo me ya lo kabo lo champion ko la abida lang UDP na tene mang ko di kili roda du roda ko ka bana ke di ba hai to ka kuma ka ne ina de wala kan kili ya gala ke to kili roda kala ka kuma ka di nan ko di karena dada ni ka cha chale mo ite ya je ka ko men nya ka ke men ka ko na ka la nya men mo ma ni na di ra na ta Yon taga je ko nakapu nyoma bali memento bona asike moti ne ya no kapo ko abela patio abelo tele abela independent intel ko anga kapu nyoma na tombo droke mona memo bona patio ko daga te patio pati memo bona ko para ko ninno ko wala rejim ini na para kalpa de dafta aje aje te tom ni da ko ka ka ko ay ko patio ko nan na ko am talenti ali na patio to ko ko na bar kambe man o kambe balia woto o ko kula ni ya ka ta ko suno mo Allah nyanta kala al kala juma na la al kala ni na ma ta ko la ma mi la ko ko tabi do ta ko ba ja ta kala mo na do ko mo no na do la jangan itu ba dudi di ba ani ni jangan an ani ni na ka ti ngai ngonyo wo kan ngai no kan nya ko si son di do illa tamen na ko ka jal ko ita na sa to la ka ko be perfect ko bona ko panantu kandet let nam ni ka ko kan te na no ka ko ando kare itu kan ya sa to le la wo nyanta melu timmandila pour sa tano kake ila labra da lori te yemme foron ka ko gangale duwa sa to no pour mo ikeno presidential candidate wakanya bari ka CMC wala tata yempa su sa to dara kenani ka ko mo nyata ta to timmandila ni yani isita ke candidate asa to sa ta ba ado ye jube ba dono isla pla jele la kadu kama amanke kundi na yaro ka yoyde mosi me kadu ko ni ko competent ya ka ko pati da pati di ganyi ba ko kampi nga ba ko ni ne nga ba ko competent ayam ya competent le ada ni mol de pala be nyola ko yaro ka kama ni competent ko sika ni ko integrity dani ko patili da mo ko ta ko kada ta ni ba ko nya to ya imani la dani ko fonction di fonction ni na ko la dani ko sa hata le ni na pa ne tete nyola ko itabe ni ko be ni ne ka tema ko pa na so ta ka ko la dani ko ni ta dani ko ni male be si am si memba na ka ko ni ta da dani ko ni wala mi ta dani ko ta da na no ay mu ne no mare be ko ne so bari ka be ko ka ko adu na ko ite ko na ya ko bon ko ti sane ni banko ka be sa ko atele daji ko sahata ite da buda na ko ti sane ni banko me ya lo ka ba sa ko ate do ko no ni banki ka ta ni sa da buda bon ni da be sa ko atele da ni banko da ka ta ni sa da buda so alkani ko bon ni ko Ama mana ko. Kuma la ko mama. Banu ni man la di, man la ko. Ba kan ba lo sa ko ko. Mo dalil mo verifiable evidence. Wannan kawo ko sai da yaro men na kawo ko isa to nya ya dino. Kawo ko kamari men lafta. Ka ke candidate o di party le candidate. Ikon ma ke ka mo dina ya no kawo ko. Imma kuke be ya no kawo ko. Conditional da donya yo ko ke me ya no kawo ka yo tinya. Ya no kawo ko. Condition 2016. Kami punya budget. Na luwa ko adu bi be mo na ko ka 5 years well ka ko ni president su resign no president su resign no but na resign ta vice president ba ta na so ye me ra ka be la ko kala ko man so luwa ko bai ko ida la bi dia but ta mo wole ka ko kare ba ta ni alta ale ko sunan ali al fan kan dia wala ale ka mo dia be dia ya taran ya al karan dia ya mo dia kana dia mara teru sanji tangu ani saba be luwa ko na janto sanji tangu saba ko no consular cases be ni banko ko ako ma ka be igala na be ke so ya no ka ko ani luwa santa manza kale kuma ko be ko tan ko ta so ho ibe gibale ma woto ko se da wala ani sa santa ko mata candidate le ay babu la ba ibe ko tiya ta ita ko tiya ita ko fa tiya so ita le wo coalition ita le sabote ko da pala so so ngalo ka ko wo yo wulin din kala ka ba bidu nganje ma me ko don ko ni ma ran ka to kala ko duwa me ko na ka mo para ni yo para lo sa ko fa na tan ko pesite modi me ya lo ka ko patiola structure la patiola structure ini contact structure so is it that as an independent candidate and be economic patiola logo does it make any sense among sense make at all why I don't have the game you and from what if I'm what if I'm massacre do what get na ko ni la ko do kala ya la ko do kala bela be equal vote UDP ni movement o me yaram ka kulu namu ya no be ro kanya na ko dina me ka ko do ya me ka ko ko manke kutlindi la kala ka fu nyoma bada nga ka fu nyoma to nya ko ala ka fu nyoma kana ke lo ka to bali nga ka fu nyoma UDP ngal ke ko ta ke tula na fahamu ro tam tawla ko tin de son na ko hani state hani kon ya reserve position ki stakeholders do na ki mo fu ma do wa ba ta mo stakeholders do bella ro ka ko wala ko ta CMC de son mo ida sa pala so di de function if there was a people that was 53 seats delegate the 52 will contest that. But one Sydney already the stakeholder was stakeholder it tells them. So I think the meaning through this meeting. No one can come and select it. If the 10 municipal, the 10 municipal Bangkok, or if the 10 municipal, political parties of Pempe Lafter, Yantale, you know, you are contest. But honey, give them Panyaka among advance, or who the problem of Nasa. Naja ka ko kaja na kanyame. In kata ni local tani na robe. Ayake ni tel na pa huta. Nyanda na pun activity on the regular. Na be ku phone. Na campaign materials yoni. Meda da. Bao ni policy no na say we part of that policy. Ila campaign material ka padin na. So man ko do. The batun do. Sign kala mor moy. Ka ko ni me so ta nyina. Just someone ni me so leta. As I imagine you on the West Coast, because they love them, they met up in the trajet. You remember that the Naya of Malak Hospital. So we are in the fee, because no for more than Capo, as I might continue my dieta, don't be tired, don't come open the young one, Calcom Italian. Maybe Jacob, ya Jude, be Funkelanian. Barry, Berkeley Rokela, Mokotella, Melia Capo, illegally Milan Academy. The Banco de Yami, Yudi Banco de Yami, Banco de Yaya Alaso Yami, Yudi Yami, Yadi, before Alena, a couple of Panang Alaso. Go, Alliance, then you use Alliance of the Baro Babo Nolan. Can you be killing a Baro engagement? Yamera Bolin Rokanya, Kamankoya, Manuko, my no body boy. What again? Body boy again. Yellow, we have a carpet with super, one of our body boy. So he is not a custom. Some that Kamako, the Baron Alamon, the Bolder. Equally to study for her operation for the custom as brother, but it's not of brother. The Gambia's commitment. Kada bondi has never done that. What do you get? So finally, for nani tahu ni kemarin gambar kau lihat ada kamu tu baru ni boleh. Won kamu ini progres kamu tu UDP di baru. Kamu tu gambar kau tu baru. So baru kan ada kamu tu leader pada the not initiative tu. That is the answer for him. Whatever he was in there, we saw that and the videos of honey. Gambian people are still against him. Gambian people still against him. So, I went to the new character, but Namen the vice president, Namen the foreign minister, Gambia not a new. Gambia not a telling us you surround yourself, now who passing Namun Flora Ninyata, Bomon kama wale borna kanaya. Pomoli and Lahidi, you got $1.7 billion to Badilana. You tell them so more than a compensation. Vice President, can you make enterprise president for online? Nito Navigate, Mambureja, Nyanjika, Ababula Kabako, Mr. Dabule, push to make sure Kabako, the Women's Enterprise Fund, and Ronald Bangkok. At telling us if Mambureja for the government, the counterpart fund is fire put in the budget. More can you make? Kaja come for the new Minister of Women's Affairs, Yada therefore established, and the market Bangkok, Minister, budget negotiations are yake, and the market, permanent secretary, but what more, I was Minister responsible for Women's Affairs, the budget, I had to go a new ministry, while my permanent secretary, to negotiate with the finance ministry, through the budget and the Kadumala from Kutwala, a new ministry coming up. Now, I will have to be me more dealer, and I don't put so the material, I don't make it, coming the Masakunda. Manzakunda to a woman for my important for. So I'm running a yellow person. Go, Manzakunda, Nabrandamba, I come claro. Ako, I may go Kulan, Manzakunda, no Kula, the Vela Jokapula. The American Tansaba. Who can they? Miranda Kende, Kadibo, was Masakunda Lukula. Marcel, Lida Marcel, La Coloca makes some sun noise. Abuka Kesawa. Masakunda Lukula. Well, Kataxio, Kadama Zole Kapunta, Adamabaro, Wilkemelu, Kadwaka, Olakadia, but I do not know you company 30% of 50 or 500,000. About 150,000 for the Bukamala, 30%, I think. So that will be 650,000 about that. And the man is that. At the two that. On the other down, I will come from some. Of the first and the second. But permanent secretary may allocate 30% beyond that. What a concern. I'm done with that. I spoke. I'm a man of Sunday. So no la joke up there. Can't stay with. But in call, we want la joke up there. Many of them come when no bank will go put that funky. Senegal. Sandy Saba. Electivo dakili what panel what become of the panel today. Nico said the Kula the Jolo Kabula by 30%. 10% left on the Wakabo Jari, and the Senate panel Bassa and the Nanga. I cannot get 3,000 for communication, 97. As punya ayapo ipanale ko alas senekto ada tio ba sanale tonu wotonu guli boro anya to le poro panale to da no panale to ko keno is sabar pour katio te non nimba ko kan ko tio wala nimba ko la ko yo wala ma ko ko atelam na biggest I mean foreign exchange mara ta na expert so fendi means dunya pa is tapi kaseno ke dari wono ko ngani bang peta je you know in Nyamina ngaja in CRR no me ano kam ko si takta sa takta me ano kam isi yo go ku get from jama soto who deal ya export gambia ya fanto but ano man kala mera da pa kan ko ni sibu sa banyo ni wala sa by 30% abana ta bi by 30%. That is their thing when they forget in Jinata Senelanda. So iko pata bebe kerinde odom ba jomma ba mai azaro ka ko atemi de adwa baro matel atelo ko amo bula ni raila ko de aterna ado ku jon ayo ko na mira so alsan bitum jema fine anyanta bekela jembula bral bula dia ko azala anyanta anyanta ba jomma bitu abe mulki.
Yes, thank you, Adrika. And please try to keep your questions shorter for time. Thank you.
Sorry.
I get my name from Pakistan, from Assam. So, in your statement, you highlighted that what is asking for the capacity yet, what is but not that so what is your response? To those who are saying that you are supporting this, because as a leader, this is supposed to be. And my second question is, you have also mentioned that if you are open to discuss, there are rules that yesterday the class are open is this true and what they are doing here and what is
The coalition what?
the coalition
The coalition fee.
yeah, in the discussion, they have formed information. So I don't know if that is true.
But yesterday, I also read in the papers that the coalition management committee of the come to meet me, but after that, so that's another question. So the other question is, it is believed that I support the party that even though I'm not saying that unity, but I support the PDP that unity will be. But that is an assumption. If it's agreed that we party there, and in example, the women popular party, have seen the party there, and they come out with good reason why the women popular party should give this party their permission. We don't call them. We are not there. We have always said that it is not that we are saying that it must be unity, but we say it is must be party there. And of course, when it comes to selection, we put in our view, just as any other political party will put in peace. So we are not imposing ourselves on anybody. And we do not and we will not impose ourselves on anybody. So then that is clear. And that is also clear that we do not find it in any way offensive. We do not find it in any way untenable for us to put forward unambiguously the policy before. If others can fall under their policy unambiguously, no one blames them. But we want to blame PDP for holding on to its own position as an state that is right. I don't think that we have always respected reasons held by other people, and let other people also respect the reasons held by us. And they must stop looking at us as people who are sabotaging policy efforts. Well, and we say those who do not succeed. So party led alliance, why are you saying that they are sabotaging coalition efforts in this country? Why should they do this? Just to be carried the state. Why should you be demonized? I don't think this. But of course, that is politics. You know, throw the dart the dart and field on your opponent and see how you can shake it up. And we have been shaking up all these dart and field, you know, and we are very clear. I think that is very clear.
Previously,
They are not,
we were
they are not asking
you
questions.
say you're not asking the question. Yes, but if you don't want to say, when you relate to the question, you ask. But if you have two more questions, then you go to our position.
What do you want? What on the donor fund process? I mean, I think it was in May of 2018. Remember, and I'm sure another, that's about 9 years ago. I'm sure man more than the 9 years ago. Young the person at the airport. I'm covered in maybe doko ako bari alaji senda ani amana e doko benke nani fon nani dona fon rejan na ke jana ba ko do mena ka ani ni no benda dana na so wala na ka kan ko do men ko je na e fon ni bayan wala na ko te dunna jama 50 million euro for agriculture to support agriculture. Within 24 hours, we have started that part is not yet. Alcala is role me, but let you know I see role me. But they go have a few now, I tell them, we have people. That is it. Then I put up with it. Allah Jambo, South Plant and the Jeto. Then I do, then I put it. So, yang watu masipolo gaya menga masipolo bayar kanyum debo idane amale ya ko adi bisada baji me bodonya kambo de na ko idane amale ya di passe kriti sanso ko idane amale ya ko bisada baji me bodonya amake ko idane that with my shopping list to China and I got it not only got I got also got that free for the government so new what was it na menke baba pala amba pala bayla ñu karo ya no telu dañu debo la je
Thank you very much, Mr. Abo. My name is Sidijo from Ketpadu. As of yesterday, the CMC chairman said that they have not received any official letter of withdrawal from the union. And he still considers UDP as part of the coalition. My question is, has the UDP submitted any letter of withdrawal to the coalition? If no, why?
Well, let me say, the CNC never invited me, or never invited me to any coalition. It is the ADC that invited us to the coalition. And they, those who want to become a CNC, they were invited by ADC to be part of the process. So, if I'm to deny, if it is well that I'm sincere to critic, withdrawal, it is not them that I will stand as any gentleman whom I really, I respect you, and I thank you for really giving me an opportunity to have some interaction with my colleague, for his himself, which is in my time. So, if I can write any event, it will be to this camera of PDG, not the CNC. But I think when Mr. Mani went to topic time and said that this is what we have agreed on, sometimes he then led to me that it was unanimous, which is not, then he will say majority, and sometimes he will say that it's unanimous. When he said, if those who do not accept this model, should go away. And there will happen in the language if you don't answer that model. You have to send any letter to them. When the model is told that you can go away if you do not accept, you have to carry that model. And you know that our wisdom is party there. But in any case, does this press briefing this morning, does it leave anybody in any doubt that UPP is no longer part of the AGT issue? Does it leave anybody in doubt? So if they want to use procedural routes to question, to seem maintain that you are member of this issue, I think they are wrong. Nobody will let you know that you are no longer.
Yes. So, Mr. Dabo, the two let's say you are going to have a soul, following the soul. The Akapubadi or Pony. Belabla, so Pony, Sapram, because we go mobile and I am very important. And then I have a woman who is other political parties and movements, the couple of people put
Well, and the first one, the enterprise one, World Bank, for the support, when the first one is the go lead on the mountain drive. Cabinet paper, cabinet paper and when it is funding on the mountain drive, not a road or more, one bank and another can go umbrella war, and got cabinet approval, and got cabinet approval. The mechanism for the document, we are putting and we are putting motion. So, women in the platform, man, the Gambia government for the back or come down for the down. Another come for other control or another come for to get it down. And we have no problem with that. We have no problem with that. But then that of the subject government that World Bank support will get more full and development. But was one of that's what is when I was back around budget in 2018. Budget session. Management of our was put in the budget. And Mamreja one is more well, Limon is the painting because already we are going to have a is Yalla now it is Trinity as a great result in 20 So there's a high likelihood Kaboko, London and Benali, Akapu, keeping and there's also a high likelihood Kaboko, don't be any initiative, movement, and so on. That's like high likelihood Kaboko. So, matter doesn't on this alone. Just a couple of more bit, a local also. So, we don't have a couple of Bela where you cook in a government of Gambia. A month about data manto, or a mulabot Nanioto, a mulabot mayor of a barrel who, yeah, you can.
Thank you for the leadership, Excellency Honorable for that comprehensive statement that you did today. Thank you to the member of the press and to all those who attend today's press conference. Today, our dedicated support esteemed members of this press and the party of the Gambia. I want to conclude today by addressing the critical junction we find ourselves in. The United Democratic Party has always believed in strength, capability of our party to lead and to unite. As coalition talks progress, a fundamental difference vision has in mind. We firmly advocate for a party-led coalition, believing that our establishing structures provide practice, record, and deep connection within the populace, providing the most robust foundation for effective governance and national progress. We have engaged in this discussion with the utmost care and sincerity, seeking a conspiracy that empowers a unified opposition. However, the intent and on an independent leadership rather than a party-led approach presents a significant deviation from our core principles and our vision for a strong unified front. As the largest opposition party, we are confident in our ability to shape a coalition that fully reflects the will of the people and can demand the transformative change of the Gambia desire. Therefore, while we deeply value the spirit of unity, we must also stand firm on what we believe is best for our nation's future. Our potential withdrawal from these sensitive coalition talks is not a step down away from unity, but a reaffirmation of our commitment to a leadership model that we believe will best serve the Gambia. We must trust in the wisdom of the Gambian people to understand our position and to continue to stand with the United Democratic Party as we champion a vision of progress that derives from unpredictable leadership. And therefore, I thank you all to the press meeting. Later on, the two days of the party leader statement will share with all the press houses. Thank you all for your kind attention. This brings us to